Hello and welcome back to Sports Dungeon. I'm your host, Loren Tepper. As you guys can see, if you don't know who he is and you're in the coaching circles or you're just an average basketball fan, you need to know who this guy is. He roams the sidelines of Western Grove and he does a great job. You know what? Any night that there's a basketball game at Western Grove, he is there, whether it's junior high, senior high. You know, the other night it was 4 games, it's 3 games, it's every night. He lives in the basketball gym and he's committed to the program at Western Grove, and he's turning things around down there in Newton County. Josh Manus, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us, Loren.
Josh, we're excited you're here. I want to give you just a couple of kudos. I want to tell you one thing off out of the gate here. I'm going to say this publicly. I've told you this, you and I talking, but I think you've done a fantastic job with these kids this year. And I'm not saying you have one of my own. He's transferred this year. And I want to tell you the main reason why we allowed him to transfer was because of you, and I want to say that personally, because I think both his mom and I have talked about a little bit about the way we've seen huge improvements in confidence, just in his makeup, the way he goes about things, and we contribute that all to you. And I want to tell you thanks.
Thank you, Loren. I really appreciate that. I mean, you know what I'm all about. It's not all about basketball. There's more to that than life. So I just try to live that and teach the kids that. I just want to be successful individuals. And then luckily we got to have a bunch of them that's going to come on the show today.
They're all going to be here. We're excited that they're here. A couple of things that you've kind of gone old school with them. You've put the word student back into the student athlete part of it. And I'm not saying I'm not bashing any schools. I'm not saying that. I just want to understand is that to these kids, it's about the schoolwork and getting the education.
That's right. I mean, you're there. Most of these kids aren't going to go to the NBA. None of them are. So, I mean, I can help them get to college by staying on them about grades and stuff. And that's much more important to me.
I've talked about this on this show multiple times. I'll say it again. You know, as you said, unless I'm really, really wrong, I don't see anybody in our neck of the woods, you know, and I see 150, 200 basketball games a year. I've not seen anybody that I think is going to make it to the NBA. But that degree, that piece of paper, it's something they can't take away from you.
Absolutely. I mean, the statistics show that, you know, kids that graduate from college make twice as much as those that, you know, just get out and get a diploma. So, I mean, if there's any way that we can help them, we should. I mean, that's our responsibility as teachers to help the kids any way we can.
And that adjustment when you came in to make that change, you know, grades every week, you know, you're checking on them, you're working with their teachers, you're doing that. And they see that you mean business. I mean, I've watched you tell the kid he can't play this week. I mean, you're just great. I mean, according to the AAA guidelines, they're still eligible, but the school standards are that you can't do that if you're failing. And I appreciate you doing that. That shows the commitment to the education side.
Absolutely. It's tough, you know. The kids spend all that time working hard in practice, and then they say, why can't I play? Well, you got to work hard in the classroom first. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about your team. Let's talk about your senior girls first, then we'll talk about the senior boys. Your junior, just for the record, Josh is coaching all 4 teams, both junior highs, junior girls, junior boys, and then he's doing the senior high, senior boys and senior girls. That's quite a commitment. That's a lot of time in the gymnasium. But you're doing it right, teaching them all the same things, working on it. Let's talk about your senior girls. They got a big victory last night over at Bruno Payette.
They did. They come out and played hard and played well. And, you know, we slacked off a little bit third quarter, but we picked it up again the fourth. And it seemed like we just got better as the game went on towards the fourth.
Yeah, I've from back in October when they were playing at Norfolk to today, the system's starting to kind of sink in a little bit, up and down the floor, running the floor, being in the right spot, good ball movement, a lot different than what you saw in the beginning of the year.
Yes, they moved the ball a whole lot better than they did at the beginning of the year. You know, we actually looked to score, you know, and we're a lot more fundamentally sound than when we were at the beginning of the year. And the kids, I think, are starting to come together more. You know, I see that, you know, day in and day out, the laughing and talking, where at first, you know, they looked like deer in headlights. I don't know if they were scared of me or what it was, which I'm sure some of it was. So, but yeah, getting better every game, I think.
Your point guard there, who had a tendency back in October and November not to move her feet but to reach, has figured out that when you reach, it's a foul. And depending on who the three are that are on the floor, sometimes that can be an anticipation of a foul.
Yes.
Not necessarily that you've actually fouled them, but the anticipation of reaching. Done a little better job of moving her feet and getting in the right spot. And that's just coming from experience and getting to play.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, most kids, especially at our level, they want to reach, and they call a reach, at the 1A level, whereas 5A, that's a hand check, and that's just
right.
basketball. And which, I wish it was like that in all divisions, but it's not. And so the kids got to learn to move their feet, play defense with their feet, and not their hands.
Right. And honestly, and no, I'm not knocking officials, but the ones in the 1A, what you're going to get in the 5A, it is a different type of basketball. It is a little bit more physical when you get up in the higher classifications, and it's a little bit different. But those are things that you've taught and have done well. And in the middle play has done well for you. I thought your gals in the middle have done better. What was 5 and 6 shots at the basket's turning into 2 and 3, which is an improvement.
Yes, we spent a whole lot more time shooting and rebounding here the last couple of weeks. Always rebounding. They do it almost every day. They know it. So
we're getting better at shooting the 3, I think, too.
we are. We started charting a lot of shots. Do it with senior boys and senior girls now. And so they ask, what to make this time. I didn't do as good today. They know what they made the day before. And so we chart a lot of them. Yeah. So.
Let's talk about your senior boys team now. They're still struggling to come together. You had a grade situation where you lost probably one of your most talented players, and don't want to dwell on that. But so the chemistry had to change here in the second half of the season for you. They're still starting to come together. I really love the intensity of some of your players, the hustle. They leave it out on the floor. Those that are lacking the ability to play make it up in their intensity.
Absolutely. That's one thing I've always preached from day one. I can live with turnovers, missed free throws, missed layups, but, play hard till the end. When you look in the mirror at night, it's not what the score said. It's, did you leave it all on the floor?
One that comes out to mind for me that's in the middle is old Travis, who is really – would you love not to see Travis been playing for you? I mean, in the mental mistakes, early in the year it was a 3-second violation, him not understanding what 3 seconds is. But, I mean, he's kind of like a ball hawk. The ball just ends up in his hand somehow, some way, and he puts it up. Now, 2-3 times, but it's getting better. He is really,
Absolutely.
You can see huge improvement. But the thing I love is the fact that when he steps on the floor, he gives you his 110% until you take him out.
Absolutely. He's every time he comes out, he's give out. And I'll say, "Hey, you tired?" Yeah, I was like, just tell me. I'll get you back in there. And so he always comes out. He's either dead tired or he's got foul trouble, which, I don't ever get mad at him for fouling because he gets his money's worth, and that's the way to do it. He's in there battling, which is what you got to do.
And him and I got to give my kudos to Brandon Martin as well. He has really been a real spark plug when he's on the floor. He's fouled out a few times, but he's made every one of those count.
Absolutely. Can't say enough about Brandon. He works hard all the time. I mean, going 90-0. Sometimes he can't talk to me or ask me questions because he give out. Last night, I didn't even get to give him his Gatorade because he wasn't over there long enough to drink it. So I apologized to him. I said, "You got a Gatorade over there. It's probably hot now."
Yeah.
So.
But how's the boys like the change in the style of what you're trying to preach here? Now you're in your second year in this, so this is not new to them what you're trying to preach.
The man-to-man stuff's not really new. Changing personnel, year to year always changes things, especially. Like you said, we lost one semester. That kind of changes things inside. So we've kind of had to adapt. And, I've done that with all the ball teams, senior girls several times. And, we'll do it as the season progresses. But I think, they're buying into the man-to-man stuff and especially my style of play. They want to play fast and, they like that. It's fun for them. It's fun to watch too. So I think they really like it. If we're doing 3-on-2, that's probably one of their favorite things to do. So I think they enjoy it.
Yeah, I like the up and down. I like the fact of playing that way. Sometimes if you don't have the horses to do that, it's kind of hard. I will say this, I'm going to stick behind my prediction early in the year. I did predict the boys to make it to the state, which is something that they've not been able to do. The state this year is at Calico Rock. It would be nothing better than to make that trip over there to be part of that, just for them to experience that. Last year, this team got a taste of a regional, which they hadn't been in years. Made a huge difference. We're going to try to take that one step further to make it to the state. But they got a long road ahead. I mean, you're not sitting well in the conference. We need to pick up. You need to win to make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, looking back, like the example I gave last night, I think I gave it to my junior boys. You don't win basketball games on great offense. You win on great defense and rebounding. And Duke getting beat by Florida State was a great example last week. Florida State couldn't run offense, so they had to, but they played great defense and they beat the #1 team in the nation. So I think looking down the road, if our defense starts coming together and we rebound, and just get a couple of easy ones here and there. You got to have a little luck to make it to state, and that's, I think if it's aligned in the stars, it can happen.
Not always. I will say this, and Steve Williams is sitting over here. Old Brutus is sitting there laughing, and he would agree with this. Not the best team wins year in and year out. You got to have a little luck. As you say, the stars got to line right with the matchups. Somebody's got to beat somebody where you didn't expect it. You get a favorable matchup, and you got to win when you're not playing well. And that's a key to advancing to that into that deep into a tournament.
That's right. I think you can make a lot of mistakes, but we got the hustle most nights that you can make up for a lot of those mistakes through hustle. And when it comes to the state tournament, that's a lot of what it takes. And we got a lot of guys that can play and contribute. And we've got a lot deeper bench we did this year than most teams do this year. A lot more guys play than they did last year.
Well, Coach, let's take a short break. We come back. Let's bring this senior class out here and let me talk to them. Josh, thanks for being here.
All right,
and
thanks
I'll
for
bring
having
these
me.
senior guys out here.
All right, thanks for having
We'll
me.
be right back.